movie and everything else. We're good, I think, right?
Yeah, we're
Uh,
okay. Yeah.
okay, good. So let's move on to Shazam. Okay, now we can talk to a much better film. I like this film. I think this is top three DCEU film of all time. Uh, yeah. So Shazam is the 2019 film. This is the let me check. I don't know. Was this movie the seventh installment for the DC extended universe? Is directed by David F. Sandberg, who did. He was like mainly horror director. He directed one of the Conjuring films, Annabelle Creation, the second film of the Annabelle films. And yeah, and stars Zachary Levi as Shazam, the adult form, and then you got, of course, Asher Angel, who plays the kid, Billy Batson, Jack Dylan
Yep. Did a
Grazer.
good job.
Yep, Jack Dylan Grazer, who's famous for the It films. He plays, Freddy, who's also become a hero, and then of course you got Djimon Hounsou, who plays the wizard who gives the powers of Shazam, and then of course Mark Strong as the villain as Doctor Sivana. Uh, so yeah, I love this movie. I saw this movie. Speaking. We have our friend Kristen, of course, Miss Flamingo. I saw
Mhm.
this movie with her and another friend in those what is it, Fandango advanced
Yeah.
screenings. We saw this
Right.
early before, and it was so great. It was one of the great experiences, and I oh my god, this movie is so amazing. I love this movie. It's one of the best superhero films, and also one of the best superhero origin films. But what's your opinion on this, Chris? You love this movie. What's your opinion on this?
Yes. What I loved about the film was Billy Batson as a kid, his story arc. Um, you know, he was a foster child,
Yep.
and he wanted to find his mom, and I related to him in terms of just trying to find who you are and what your purpose in this life is, and obviously he definitely had his fair share of bullying because his foster brother, he saw how he was being treated by those jocks.
Yeah.
Definitely, I had that experience with bullying and myself, so it definitely it definitely did trigger me,
Mm.
but I felt very relatable in
Mm.
that what Billy Batson was facing. I had faced that too at one point in my life. So
Oh
that's what
wow.
really, I mean, I wasn't, of course, all the stuff about being a foster kid, not that, but
No,
in
I
terms,
know.
yeah,
I, I'm just aiming at the bullying. That I understand. That I do relate to. Yeah, yeah, I agree.
right, exactly. And just, again, just trying to, I guess find your place in the world. And that's what really drew me to this movie, and especially, Billy Batson.
Yeah, yeah,
And I like Zachary Levi as Shazam. He's like he's built for that character.
yeah, I agree. Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, I completely agree with you, Chris. I mean, this it has a heart, which is great. It has a heart in the sleeves. It just is so charming. It just it gives you the reason why you love superheroes, And I think they do a really great job of just dealing with the character of Billy Batson and his arc, and it's just so well done and like very precise and economical as well. And it's so much fun. I mean, it's funny. And it's just very charming. It's like, as the director mentioned, this is the superhero film of Big, the Tom Hanks comedy film. You know,
Hmm.
um, yeah. Oh my God, this is great, and it's definitely my second favorite after Wonder Woman. I think this movie does deliver everything right. As a superhero film, which was sort of lacking in certain films, and yeah, was so great. Yeah, and speaking of Zachary Levi, yeah, I mean Zachary Levi, like this part of Shazam, like I like the costume, it looks great. I guess the question, I this is sort of a nitpick, it is sort of weird I mean, I guess he's a kid, but he's weird. Like he's like when he's Billy Batson in the kid form, right?
Hmm.
He he's like a street smart kid, right? And he's very smart. But then when
Hmm.
he's in the Shazam form, he's very goofy, and he's
Yeah,
like, does it bother you that's very inconsistent? I mean, what do you think? I mean, it's a minor thing, but it's kind of funny how like inconsistent they are with the portrayals between the kid and then entering into the
I
same
mean,
body.
to be honest with you,
Uh huh.
I felt like once Billy Batson became Shazam and he started recognizing his powers. At what point was he was uh he was a kind of a jerk. Turns
Hmm.
off, like he was showing off his ability to people, and I like how his foster brother was referring to him in one scene when they were having that scene in dinner. Is that you know I'm paraphrasing that maybe someone doesn't appreciate the gift that he's been given.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
what I noticed what Billy Batson was that okay, clearly he was abandoned. Turns out he was abandoned by his mother when he was a kid,
Yeah.
and he would jump from foster home to foster home. So, and remember in that beginning scene where he said to Darla, like, listen, you're not really my sister, and you can see
Yeah.
how that hurt her feelings.
Yeah.
And so, he wasn't jerking that. He really wasn't considerate of, other people's feelings. And
That's
usually,
true.
and what people tend to do is that when people are hurt, they tend not to care. They tend to
Not to
not to
care.
care about the feelings of others because nobody cared about me. So
Yeah, that's very true. No, 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 no. Now you made me. Okay, that makes a lot of sense now. Yeah, that makes sense. When he's in the sand form, he's becoming an even bigger jerk because because he got these powers, and especially the scene when Freddy comes up to him and was it like the area where Rocky like like runs into in that
hmm
like area where his statue is like. Of
hmm
course, Billy is doing the thunder shooing under his hands for
right.
for showing off, and Freddy accused him that he didn't help him out with the bullies in the school,
hmm
and yeah, that yeah, no, 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 now it makes sense. And that's true. Yeah, so okay, so it's not really inconsistent. It's sort of there. It's just like when he's Shazam, his ego is started to kind of take control, and he has to sort of learn that he has to be responsible. Okay, that makes sense. So okay,
Right.
and you mentioned the mom. So did you expect the mom actually abandoned him in the film? Like I wasn't expecting that the mom like abandoned her, and for reasons
No, I
that
wasn't expecting that at all. I had thought that at first the mom passed away.
yeah, I thought that
Um,
too.
yeah, but as the movie went to a flashback scene with him and his mother. That's when I was like, okay, she probably abandoned him. That's why he's been searching for her all this time.
Mm,
And then when he finally found her, you know, he wanted to he wanted to be back with her, and pretty much she was like, no, because no, I can't really take care of you, because I guess she didn't really feel fit as a mom.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
I
yeah,
think Billy was reflecting in that scene. I did, all this time I had been looking for you, and
yeah.
you just, you just pushed me away. And that's why I think he said, what, let me get back to my real
Real
family.
family. Yep.
Right.
Yeah. 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 And that was such a cool way to pay off the family. Like when the last scene we see them in the dinner. Like I like
Hmm.
how I say we're family, and I think that was like great payoff to his arc of like accepting that this is his family now, and that yeah, despite his
Yeah.
mom, so yeah,
And when Billy went to go see, his birth mother,
yeah,
soon as she opened the door, it's not like she was overjoyed, and it's not like she even got emotional. I'm like, God, my son, I haven't seen you in so many years.
yeah,
She was just blank. She was just like stoic face, just blank. I mean, what
yeah,
kind of, if I was a parent, and let's say, I wouldn't do this, but I abandoned my kid, and my kid comes back to see me after so many years, I'd be on my, I'd immediately give my kid a hug. I'd be on my knees crying, you know.
yeah,
But that wasn't
yeah.
that
It
wasn't
wasn't the
that wasn't
case.
yeah, that wasn't his mother.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, and
It's
yeah,
almost
and
like that, like, why is he here for this?
yeah, and it was selfish as well. So yeah, so I agree. Oh my god, yeah, that was a good way to wrap his like character arc so well. And I think one of these I appreciate was just spending time with him as as a person. You know,
Mhm.
like I like how he interact with characters. And I think his relationship with Freddy is like very important. I think to really send him to this direction of like learning to be responsible and also accepting that this is his new family. What do you think about Freddy as a character? I think Jack Dylan Glazer is really great as Freddy, and I think he is the heart of this film, basically.
Yeah, yeah, he definitely brung some comedic relief, and
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think he relates to, again, a lot of people in terms of, like, being bullied because, you're different from most people. And besides him being, disabled, he's a really smart kid.
Yeah.
Like,
That's true.
he's very smart. And unfortunately, we live in a society where, you would be called a nerd and stuff for knowing science, or just being really educated, as of like that's a almost
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
cardinal sin. And again, because he was disabled, those bullies saw him as weaker
Yes.
than them.
Yes.
And
That's very true.
unfortunately, people will tear others down just to feel better about themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm glad we got to see him, as a superhero. So he showed that he can kick some butt too.
Yeah. That's true. And I like that moment when he realized he became a superhero. That was a great moment in the movie.
Right?
uh, yeah.
That
Oh,
was one of my favorite moments in the movie.
that's great. Oh my god, that was good. Oh god, yeah. Speaking of the adult actor that plays Freddy in that form,
Hmm. Yeah.
Adam Brody,
Hmm.
he's the one that's in Justice League Moral. He was supposed to be the Flash, Barry
Okay.
Allen in that movie.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah. And when we get into the family, the foster family, one of the boys is actually was supposed to play Superman in the Justice League
Hmm.
Moral, but he's in this movie as one of the foster siblings.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I can mention now. He is let me get him Pedro Pennant, the the shy sensitive boy. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, his adult actor GJ Katrana is the one that was supposed to be Superman and the unproduced George Miller Justice League model.
Okay. So it never was like filmed or anything.
They were like they were halfway through the production, like they were about to shoot, but it got canceled last minute when they were supposed to shoot. You know, um,
Wow.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
a like a
Okay.
yeah, yeah, it's crazy. I maybe should have sent you like links to this. Like,
Hmm.
it's very fascinating. It's like Superman Lives, the Tim Burton film that did
Yeah.
not get made. It's like that, and there's actually a documentary as well that's is going through this movie as well. The Justice League Marvel. Um, yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So we got two of them here. And speaking of the Foster family, I dug the Foster family. I mean, I love the was it oh my god, Darla.
Uh-huh.
the young
Oh yeah,
sister.
Darla. Yeah, she's
Y-
cute.
I love that. Oh my god, she had one of my favorite scenes in this movie when she's like saving the people and she sees Santa Claus and she's telling
Mhm.
her like the present and all that. That's so funny. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh
Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say?
yeah, I just read something from Gunverse.
Oh,
I'm
really?
sorry. Yeah, it says only a total of 512,512,000 DC fans tuned into the final premiere of The Flash season 9 episode 1 on the CW network.
Hmm. Interesting. Uh,
Yeah, it had a zero point 0.1 rating. And when I see that I was like, is it that bad?" you know?
I mean, uh, I mean, let's stick with the Shazam. I mean, right now with the Flash, I mean, ratings has become like useless now with
Mhm.
TV, so
Right.
it's a little weird, but yeah. Ooh, I don't know. I mean, I still need to I need to see that premiere, but anyway, um, but yeah, yeah. So I love Dolores. I think she's a great character. I also love the running gag that she cannot keep secrets.
Uh,
I thought that was really funny. But
oh,
yeah,
and
yeah,
did you know that Black Adam was actually supposed to be in Shazam? They were planning to bring him on Shazam.
yes. So let's get into that. Yeah. So before this movie got made, because the Rock's company, the Seven
The
Bucks
seven
production.
bucks. Yeah.
Yeah. Weird projection name, but whatever. Uh, The Rock was supposed to, you know, uh, supposed to be in this movie. Black Adam was supposed to be the main villain for this movie, but
Yep.
some reason around 20 uh, before this movie was going to probably get into production, like he decided to just make it the own solo film. And the weird thing is, they set up his the character up. And did you notice something? I did not know this, but there's a continuity area with this movie and Black Adam. So when the wizard explains what Billy's gonna be, he showed the this hologram magic of Shazam becoming how you say Black Adam becoming Black Adam, and he's the one that released the seven sins. That's the demons in this movie, right?
Yeah. What I think what happened was that so Black Adam was going to be in Shazam as the main
No, 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 no,
villain.
no, 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 no. Let's listen. So Black Adam was released the seven deadly sins, but in the movie they completely annoyed that, and like he did not
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Because
So
what I was. Yeah. Because what I was going
it's
to.
just continuing because he does not care about this movie, and he just did his own thing. So it's not completely connected at all with this universe. Anyway, go
No.
ahead. I'm sorry, Chris. Go.
No. What I was. Yeah. What I was going to say was that The Rock had said, no, let's let Black Adam, develop his own story first before we bring those two together. So that's why they scrapped him.
Uh, I I it's just, I mean, it's very baffling. I mean, whenever we get into Black Adam, someday we'll I mean, it's one of the weirdest things ever.
Hmm.
Besides, I mean, villains. I mean, Black Adam is the well-known one for Shazam to fight with, and it's
Right.
just so weird that it's just so weird. I mean, honestly, um, but
I
yeah,
mean,
so
well, yeah. I mean, it was our first time seeing Shazam too, Shazam as well. So
yeah.
I can kind of see where he's coming from because, as you said, Black Adam has his own story arc, right? And it wouldn't
Yeah.
make sense to introduce him to Shazam when we don't even know his own story yet and why those two and how those two meet and why those
Yeah.
two.
That's
fight each
that's
other and
true.
stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I get that. But then the weird part is the Rock, like, because apparently he didn't like this movie. He doesn't like Shazam. So
Hmm.
if you cut it simply, is like it was never gonna happen. He only cared about just be a superhero, and then he wanted to fight Superman. So Shazam is just a complete afterthought, really. And also, like, this does not connect. Like, I mean, I know the Wizard is Djimon Hounsou is in Black Adam as well, like a quick cameo,
Yeah,
and
yeah, it's a sort of cameo.
yeah, but uh, it this movie sort of contradicts to say Sam and what we're giving a little bit of what Black Adam was, but I don't know. Anyway, it happened, and it's one of the huge DCEU mistakes of just not thinking clear to just have Black Adam as the villain, and this is simply it's that. Anyway, um, let's move on. Speaking of villain, the villain we got here is Doctor Thaddeus Sivana, who's played by Mark Strong. I think he's a good villain. I think he's definitely a great DCU villain. I think the DCU villains are very weak. They're so bad. And there's few that are good. And I think Mark Strong's villain here is actually good. I think he's definitely top five in DCU villains. I wish he had more development, but the development we got with this character was enough, and I think he was used well in this film. What do you think, Chris?
Well, yeah, as I said, I didn't really, I didn't really like him that much. For
Oh
me, he
wow!
was
Y-
as no, yeah, because I had said earlier, I just felt like he was your typical like I want to I want to take over and I want power for myself type villain, and like we've seen that generally in superhero films, and at some point you kind of get tired of that arc. So I just wish that there was an arc to him where you understood him, you understood his motivations, or you kind of agreed with him in certain you know I guess like certain arguments he made for his motivations, but to me it wasn't that at all. It was just your typical I'm the world did me wrong, so I'm gonna
mm,
take
yeah,
over villain. Like that was just so bland to me.
yeah, that's very true. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I wish he had more development because they did a good job of setting him up in the beginning. Like, that's how I like. He was a kid similar to Billy Batson, and he was like unworthy to be the champion. And like, I think if we did more scenes with him with Billy as a kid and like parallel him to Shazam, I think it could work.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I agree. It's very, he's very useful. I mean, like he's a very efficient villain for this movie. It's nothing spectacular. So I can see what you're saying, Chris. And yeah, um,
Yeah, he was just greedy. He saw, oh, you're not worthy, and he wanted to take matters into his own hands. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I was blanking. What I was gonna ask you. What about the seven deadly sins? I mean, they were good. I mean, they had cool
Yeah,
character designs.
that was fine. I know for a fact they read the Bible, because that's definitely where they got the seven deadly sins from.
I
But
mean,
yeah, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life was like those are all biblical. Yeah, that's all in scripture. All clear biblical references. And
yeah,
a lot of movies
sloth.
do that. They take a lot of they get a
Yeah,
lot of their ideas from the Bible. You can
yeah,
clearly see it.
yeah. Seven does this. I mean, the David Fincher film with Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt. They do the
Hmm.
seven deadly sins. Yeah. Yeah. But I guess it's kind of cool. With this in the sequel coming soon. I mean, I like that they're going very in deep with the Greek mythology and all that. Like that's one thing I like about these films over Black Adam, because like they're really going in deep with the lore, and that's good. Um, and there's some that I didn't recognize. Like we can go into, the tiger that like Billy got when he was a kid. That's a reference to a character that is actually a supporting character in the film, in the comics. I guess his name is something something. Oh my god, I should check this. What was his name? Uh, Here characters. Uh, Taku Taki Tamwa. That's the tiger character in the comics, and then the practical oh my god, I cannot say crocodiles man that we saw in the suits when they were opening those like dimension doors towards the end of the film. Those are characters, and they're actually members of the Society of Monsters, the Shazam like version of the Sinister Six. And then of course we got Mr. Mine, the caterpillar villain that we get in the post credit scene.
Oh
So
wow, I didn't.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, this film sets up the hold on, the enemies, the Monster Society of Evil. So it's like heavily referenced in this film with those like weird creatures that we saw. So uh and speaking of that, I mean, Mr. Mine, just to confirm this, apparently David F. Sandberg mentioned that yes, despite they set up, Dr. Saban talking to, Mr. Mine, the counterfeit villain we saw in his jail cell.
Hmm.
It was in development, but then they sort of decided to create new villains and use some Greek gods to be
Hmm.
in the second film. So that's why we're not gonna get them in the sequel. Makes sense, and I will
Okay.
accept that. I mean, at least we're getting Lou, and Haley Mirror as villains, so that's good. So
Yeah, I like. I'm gonna. I hope I'm definitely gonna like Lucy Liu.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
know. I think Wonder Woman's in this film. There was a shot of.
yes,
Did you notice that shot of? Looks like she's pushing a force field. And if you
yeah,
look at like her arms and what's on her arms, it's very similar to Wonder Woman's. And it's like
yeah, yeah,
that has to be her. But the thing is, you really have to pay attention because that scene, that particular shot of that scene comes and goes.
yeah. Very quickly in the trailer. Yeah, yeah. I know, I
Right.
know.
They don't want you to catch that. They don't want to spoil it. I mean, they did spoil it, but you really have to pay attention to that trailer to catch it.
Yeah, that's very true. Oh man, crazy. One more month. We're almost there to see that movie.
Yep. One more month. One more month.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, what else we need to discuss? Do you want to like? Do you have like a favorite foster kid? Do you like in the film? Like, do you like Doro? What's your opinion on of Mary, the other like the older sister? She was good. I wish she had more development. I think she's gonna get more of that in the sequel, but we'll see. Um, but like, who's your like? Do you have any favorite from the Foster family? This
No,
one.
not really. I mean,
Okay.
honestly, I like all of them equally. I
Okay.
don't really have a favorite.
Okay, that's good. That's fine. I mean, I like all of them. I do like the kid, the Chinese kid, and I just love that kid. Just when he got his powers, and he's like, I I was laughing so hard when he say, Kakugan, when he
Hmm.
fire his electric fingers. That was so funny. I love that.
Right.
That's yeah. Oh my god. What else? What else we need to discuss? Speaking of trivia, apparently the Seven Deadly Sins designs were inspired by the Terror Dogs and Ghostbusters. Uh,
Hmm.
from the director, I can say that. And then this movie actually came out during the year Shazam's 80th anniversary, so that was actually kind of cool. Um, and it's speaking of the name, this did came out the same year as Captain Marvel, and obviously Captain Marvel, the name was his first name before they lost that
Really?
during the yeah, yeah. So I don't know if you know the history of Sasayam. This is your first time seeing this character because my knowledge of this character was from the Justice League Unlimited show. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if I guess the Injustice was your first time seeing Shazam. I totally forgot that he's in the
Yeah.
first game. Um,
No, no. Seeing the Shazam film, that was my first time seeing him, and
oh,
then
okay,
the second time seeing him was
okay,
the Injustice video game, the video game
okay,
version.
okay, that makes sense. Okay, so like, so Shazam like was a new character in the comics in the 40s. He was like beating out Superman.
Hmm.
And so there was like a legal, like this is a very famous legal battle between DC and Fawcett Comics. That's what they were called. And actually, the school they went to, the kids in this movie goes to Forest School, Forest
Hmm.
High, whatever. That's actually a reference to the comics that Shazam comes from. So that was
Right.
very cool. Um, so and originally his name was Captain Marvel and the Marvel family. So that was his original name. But then around I think the 60s or 50s, they apparently they lost the rights to that name, and Marvel got it, and they used that for Marvel, and then to Carol in the 70s. So that's why we have Captain Marvel and Marvel, and then we have here Shazam as the name officially. So
Right.
and how ironic that they came out the same year, uh, in 2019. So, but yeah, um, yeah. So I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, is there anything else to say about this movie? I mean, it's so good. I think you know.
Yeah. Yeah. It is really good. And I think it did well on its own, but it definitely, I think, had things gone on, I think had things had gone well with Justice League, I felt
Mhm.
like Shazam could have been that film to really set the DC universe.
Mm,
But we'll have to wait until June when the Flash comes out.
yeah. Man. Oh, I don't want to talk too much about it, what's going to be the future for Sam.
Mm,
We need to see how the second film does, and we can go from there, really. And I don't know about the Flash. I mean, I think the Flash will boot this franchise. I think the second film will be the last to see these characters. I it I mean, if it does big numbers in the box office,
hmm.
then they can maybe consider to keep that version of the character, onwards in the new universe, maybe. But
Right, right,
I,
okay.
I'm just curious because this movie, the first one, did okay. I mean, it crossed over 366 .1 billion worldwide.
Hmm.
I mean, it's okay. It's actually pretty actually under budget. So like it actually did successfully under the budget. It was like 80 to 100 million dollar has been confirmed for Warner Brothers, right? But if you compare to Aquaman that came out the year before this movie came out in 2019, that movie crossed $1 billion. So it was kind of like it was this question if it was a hit or not. But of course, we're getting a sequel. This is the word of mouth for this movie really helped the film. I think. Like, I mean, I love this movie, and I think it deserves to continue and be a franchise. I think. Um, I don't know. I'm curious about how the second film will do.
Me too.
I mean, as we discussed with the DC film discussion and off screen, it's like what's gonna happen with all the four DC films. I mean, it's just up in the air right now, you know. So,
Yeah, and I wonder, what is DC gonna do with guys like, Lex Luthor and Deathstroke, because those are, definitely pivotal characters to DC. I don't know what their relations are with Shazam, but those two
I'm
definitely need to have a role.
yeah, I agreed. I don't know what Shazam's role is going to be. I mean, it's been very weird with Shazam. He's such a weird character because he was a rival to DC, and then they got him during the
Right.
'70s, and I mean, he's known, but like he's not like a big tier character for DC. I mean, despite his appearance with despite how evolved is in the universe, or how Black Adam has been pivotal in some areas. Like he's very involved with the Justice Society of America and whatnot. But I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. So highly recommend Shazam. Not. I am not highly recommend Green Lantern at all.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah. So but yeah. But thank you, Chris, for coming today. I hope this was a pleasant discussions.
Oh, yes it was, as always, and thank you for having me.
Yep.
And I hope that we can keep this going and keep discussing DC and Marvel films, and just sharing our
Yeah.
passion for these projects with one another. And we hope that the viewers will see that passion themselves.
Yeah. I mean, so far the DC stuff has been successful, and the DC Marvel Plus stuff has been pretty well received in terms of reviews.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
I hope DC Universe listens to their fans,
that's
like
true.
obviously you have, and
Yeah. Yeah.
just get it going with these stories, and you know portraying these heroes the way they need to be.
Yes, that's very true. I do agree. Um, oh my god, it's very crazy. Right now with DC films. But hopefully we get sort of clean after this year, and then we'll get the new Superman movie in July, in 2025. Then I think we should be good. But yeah, so but anyway, thank you everyone for listening to this podcast. Of course, me and Chris, or Chris and me, will return for another spectacular podcast. Of course, these two podcasts we're going to be together, and then I'm going to separate them into like individual podcasts for you guys to listen separately as well. So check those out in this week. But yeah, have a good weekend, everyone, and of course, enjoy your Super Bowl for this Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Right,
gonna end this.
Andre.
Yeah. Okay. Have a nice
I'm
day,
just gonna
everybody.
watch the Super Bowl, fellas.
All right. Have a good day, everyone.